Okay, so get out and vote. We got to vote, and we have to win by a lot. Don't believe the polls. It has us winning by a lot over Nikki, over everybody. I mean, Ron is in 5th or 6th place. What the hell happened to Ron? Does anybody know what happened to? I think I happened to Ron. You know what? I made Ron. I got him elected. I got him the nomination first, and I got him elected. Remember, he was running against a guy that turned out to be a crackhead, unfortunately. But at the time, he was a very popular guy and, you know, good-looking guy. They used to say he's going to be a president of the United States within 12 years. He's going to be a president of the United States. That didn't work out too well, I don't think. But he didn't think he could beat him, but I got him elected. He was down. It was over. I mean, it was over, you know, in Florida. And he came to see me, tears in his eyes, and he needed my endorsement. I said, Ron, you're so far down that if I were George Washington and Abraham Lincoln put together, I couldn't get you elected. He said, no, you're very popular in Florida. If you endorse me. And I endorsed him, and he went up like a rocket ship, and he ended up winning his thing. He had no chance. He was down like 30 or 40 points. And in, like instantly, he went up. He won by like 20. He went from being down 40 to winning by 20, all in 2 days or 3 days.
Several days later.
Now, following our second place finish in Iowa, we've prayed and deliberated on the way forward. If there was anything I could do to produce a favorable outcome, more campaign stops, more interviews, I would do it. But I can't ask our supporters to volunteer their time and donate their resources if we don't have a clear path to victory. Accordingly, I am today suspending my campaign. I'm proud to have delivered on 100% of my promises, and I will not stop now. It's clear to me that a majority of Republican primary voters want to give Donald Trump another chance. They watch his presidency get stymied by relentless resistance, and they see Democrats using lawfare this day to attack him. Well, I've had disagreements with Donald Trump, such as on the coronavirus pandemic and his elevation of Anthony Fauci. Trump is superior to the current incumbent, Joe Biden. That is clear. I signed a pledge to support the Republican nominee, and I will honor that pledge. He has my endorsement because we can't go back to the old Republican guard of yesteryear, a repackaged form of warmed-over corporatism that Nikki Haley represents. The days of putting Americans last, of kowtowing to large corporations, of caving to woke ideology are over.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about some big news that I talked about last night. I told you guys that this was imminent, that it was going to happen any day now, which was that Ron DeSantis was going to drop out of the GOP primary because, quite honestly, he did not have a path forward in regards to winning the nomination after he lost Iowa. Now, this is something that I've been saying for a long time now. Like, for example, look at this tweet from November 8th, 2023, where I predicted that if/when DeSantis gets smoked in Iowa because pro-life evangelicals don't care about the issue of abortion enough to vote for him, he will drop out. Now, this was in response to somebody telling me that DeSantis is not going to drop out no matter how much I say it, right? No matter how much I say that DeSantis is going to drop out, he ain't going to drop out. And I said, no, he is going to drop out. Not only did I say it then, months ago, okay, back in November, I also said it when Chris Christie dropped out before Iowa. I said, well, Chris Christie's dropping out to give Nikki a chance. And if DeSantis performs poorly in Iowa, he's going to drop out as well, okay? This was not a hard thing to predict, and I'm going to tell you guys why it wasn't hard to predict. As Nikki Haley is already celebrating Ron DeSantis dropping out, claiming, may the best woman win. And I want to talk about all this, but before we get into it, we have to have a word from the sponsor of this video, BioTrust. Those who set their New Year's resolutions around health and beauty are helping collagen supplements grow in popularity. This supplement has trended recently as people are looking for ways to improve their skin, hair, nails, and joint health. For example, if you press a baby's cheeks, it bounces back because of the collagen that is present. Conversely, large pores and wrinkles appear as we lose collagen. The only collagen I recommend and use is this amazing magical supplement. It helps reduce visible signs of aging, reduce wrinkles, and promotes a youthful complexion of the skin. 1 scoop a day provides 5 critically important types of collagen your skin needs to perform and look its best. Plus, there are no artificial flavors, colors, or preservatives. Get it now for a whopping 53% off this New Year's. Plus, receive free live health and fitness coaching for life, a new ebook titled The 14 Foods for Amazing Skin, a 60-day satisfaction guarantee, and free shipping. Order now by going to healthwithpatriot.com. Again, that is healthwithpatriot.com.
Now, we just heard that Ron DeSantis has dropped out of the race. He ran a great race. He's been a good governor, and we wish him well. Having said that, it's now one fella and one lady left. So there were 14 people in this race. There were a lot of fellas. All the fellas are out, except for this one. But for now, I'll leave you with this. May the best woman win.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. That is Nikki Haley, always, kind of going with the more feminist angle here, right? May the best woman win, which, hey, that's the card that she's playing. Apparently, this is something that's okay, right, in the Republican Party nowadays, okay? But it is what it is. That's her reaction to it. Let's react to Fox News and their coverage of DeSantis suspending his campaign and endorsing Trump.
And we are breaking into Sunday morning futures with breaking news. Hello, everyone. I'm Arthel Neville. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is dropping out of the Republican presidential primary race less than 48 hours before the polls open in New Hampshire. It is now a two-person race between former President Donald Trump and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley. Now, this is a stunning turn of events for DeSantis, who was seen as the strongest challenger to Trump when he first launched his campaign. DeSantis finished nearly 30 points behind Trump in the Iowa caucuses and is polling a distant third place in New Hampshire. Now, he had planned to focus on the South Carolina primary next month, but said he would not continue to run if he did not see a path forward. And we had spoken earlier with Karl Rove on Fox News, and we were looking at a poll of undeclared voters in New Hampshire in the Republican primary there. And Trump had 41%, Haley had 49%, and DeSantis only had 4% of the confidence, if you will, from those undeclared voters in New Hampshire. So again, it is all about Nikki Haley and Donald Trump. Now, the question is, we're waiting to hear, I'm sure, from Governor DeSantis at some point. It will be interesting to see if he is going to give a full-throated endorsement to President Trump. And as we know, Senator Tim Scott did that last night, and it was quite full-throated. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has a 19% lead over Nikki Haley. With Trump, now he has 55% support in New Hampshire versus Haley's with 36%. And the question is Trump doing everything right, or is Nikki Haley doing something wrong, or is it just too soon to find any answer to those questions? Because the race, as you see, is now taking a full turn, with Ron DeSantis officially dropping out of the 2024 race. And he, in fact, did endorse the former President Trump. It will be interesting to see if, in fact, Trump chooses, if he wants it, DeSantis as his running mate.
All right, so let's stop it there, right? And let's get into this. So you have DeSantis dropping out of the race after losing the Iowa caucuses. Now, the only reason I think he stayed in the race for as long as he did after the Iowa caucuses is because he was thinking about whether or not he wanted to endorse Trump, not give an endorsement at all, or maybe even endorse Nikki Haley. It was essentially a pick between going with the establishment, which is to endorse Nikki Haley, or trying to salvage his political career that he's essentially kind of destroyed to a certain extent by running against former President Trump and endorsing Trump and trying to get back into the good graces of the America First movement. Now, as you can see, he chose to endorse Trump, which in my opinion is him trying to save his political career, okay? And I think that he made the right decision by doing that. Now, the reason why I knew that he would drop out after Iowa is because his whole campaign was based on him winning Iowa. And he had to win that state or have a strong second place finish. I'm talking about losing within, I don't know, maybe 5 points of Trump, okay? He would have to outright win it or have a strong second place finish in order to justify staying in the race. Well, why is that? Well, the reason why is because he ran to the right of Trump, particularly when it comes to social issues. Think abortion, okay? I personally believe that one of the main reasons why Ron DeSantis signed that 6-week abortion ban in Florida after the primary was over in the middle of the night, so nobody knew about it, is because he was going to use that to campaign in Iowa. He already knew that he was going to run for president of the United States, and he did it to say, hey, look, I signed this 6-week abortion ban. I am tougher on this issue than Trump. You need to get on board with me because, again, I'm more aligned with you socially, okay? Now, I said back in November that I don't think that Iowans care about an issue enough to actually vote for DeSantis over Trump. Lo and behold, I was right, okay? And the reason why I knew that is because I actually started to see how people vote when it comes to the abortion issue, and I realized that, oh, wait, there's actually a lot more people that are passionate about maintaining the ability to have abortions in this country than actually outright banning it. So I already kind of knew how it was going to go, okay? And I knew that Ron DeSantis' campaign was simply based on trying to be more socially conservative than Trump and getting those voters on board with his campaign and taking that momentum into the later GOP primary. So he had to win Iowa because Iowa is one of the more socially conservative states that we have. So if he can't win in Iowa, he ain't winning nowhere, right? And the fact that he lost to Trump by 30 plus points, he had no shot. Look at the polls in New Hampshire. The dude was polling in some of these polls, he's as low as 4%. He was down there with Vivek Ramaswamy. Vivek Ramaswamy was about to overtake him, okay? You're talking about a guy that nobody knew about a year ago, literally was about to poll better than the governor of Florida, one of the most popular conservative governors that we've ever had. He was about to poll better than DeSantis in New Hampshire. In South Carolina, Ron DeSantis was polling less than 10%. Iowa was his strongest state. He had to win Iowa. That's how I knew that, one, likely he wasn't going to win Iowa, right? And two, after he loses Iowa, he would be forced to drop out because he went all in on that state, right? And when you go all in on the state and you end up getting blown out, despite the fact that you went all in, that was your best and your strongest performance possible. Yeah, I mean, it was over for him immediately. So it was an easy prediction to make. And it's not something where I'm really, taking a victory lap or anything like that because it was one of the more easier political predictions, right? I understood this is the lane that Ron DeSantis is running in. These are the type of voters that he's trying to get. And I already kind of knew logically how that would end, right? Considering, different scenarios and what could possibly happen. So with that being said, Ron DeSantis did something that was easily predictable. However, what was not easily predictable was who he was going to endorse. What was he going to do after he dropped out? Because again, his political career is in question because it's been a blood war, right? A blood civil war between DeSantis supporters and Trump supporters, right? And there's a lot of DeSantis supporters that are coming out and saying, no matter what, because of what happened between Trump and DeSantis, I'm not voting for Trump in the general election, right? I will not vote for Trump. And Ron DeSantis coming out and endorsing Trump hopefully will get those, supporters, those DeSantis supporters who essentially have become never Trumpers. Hopefully it will get them on board with voting for Trump. And that is probably Ron DeSantis' strongest pitch if he actually wants to be VP, which could be his path back to becoming that guy again, right? The guy that's going to take over the America First movement when Trump's time is done, okay? It could be that Trump picks him to be VP, and if Ron DeSantis is VP, if Trump wins, then yeah, I mean, Ron DeSantis is going to be next up, okay? And, in politics, things can be forgiven, right? People tend to say, hey, you know what? We didn't like each other in the past, but, hey, we can reconcile our differences now that the race is over, now that we're not competing against each other anymore, and we can be friends again. Happens all the time, right? And, again, I think the strongest pitch for Ron DeSantis to be VP is the idea that, well, a lot of these DeSantis supporters, they're so butthurt about what happened in the primary between DeSantis and Trump that, they're just not going to vote for Trump. They're going to be never Trumpers. They're going to basically let Biden continue to destroy the country because they're mad about what happened to DeSantis. I think that getting those people on board is a strong pitch for DeSantis to be VP. However, I will say this. One of the reasons why Trump probably should not pick DeSantis as VP is because of the 6-week abortion ban. Okay, we've all seen how the GOP, the abortion bans, and what happened post Roe v. Wade has essentially made it much harder for the GOP to win elections because it has motivated people to come out and to vote, particularly the young 304s and garden tools of America. They've come out and vote in droves to protect their ability to have abortions. And if Trump picks DeSantis as VP, that is going to be an easy target for Democrats to say, look, they just picked a guy that signed a 6-week abortion ban. That's exactly what they're going to do if Trump wins. Look at who he surrounded himself with. Look at his VP. He becomes an easy target, right? A very easy target because he has somebody that is his second guy in charge that has done something that we know motivates a certain demographic of people to come out and vote in droves. And that is something that the GOP needs to avoid, right, in 2024 if they want to win. So with that being said, there's pros and cons to picking Ron DeSantis as a VP. I honestly think the cons outweigh the pros. I think that a lot of these DeSantis supporters, they're salty now, but I think that they will come around, hopefully, right? They're not so selfish that they decide that they're going to let the country continue to be destroyed under Joe Biden because of what happened with Ron DeSantis in the primaries. It is what it is. It's politics. This is how it goes. But I do think that Ron DeSantis overall made the right choice in regards to endorsing Trump. It may not be what the establishment wants, but it is the best choice to save his own political career if he wants to become a senator after he's done with his governorship, or if he wants to run for president again in 2028. The door still remains open as long as he can, make things right with the America First movement, which I think that he can. 100%. I think the only reason that he was getting attacked is because he decided to run against Trump and he became a threat at that point. They became competitors, and it is what it is, man. It's politics. It happens. Okay. So, I'm not holding it against him. I think that he's the best conservative governor that we've had in a long, long time. People should not forget that. He decided to run for president because, hey, he wanted to strike while the iron is hot. Okay. In politics, your career can be very short-lived, right? So when you're hot today, you can be cold tomorrow, and he decided to strike while the iron was hot, while he was at his most popular, and it just so happens it didn't work out, right? Whoever he hired to be his campaign advisors definitely misguided him in regards to campaign strategy, particularly when it comes to refusing to do interviews in the mainstream liberal media early on, right? And then starting to attack Trump, go back and forth with Trump, respond to Trump's attacks. I think that that's probably what killed his campaign the most. Is his campaign advisors. So if he decides to run again in 2028, he should not hire those people. In fact, he should hire somebody like me, right? Because I definitely would do a lot better job than they did. I mean, they got paid millions of dollars to essentially tank his campaign when he could have done a lot better. He should have ran the campaign that Vivek Ramaswamy was running. If he had ran the campaign that Vivek Ramaswamy ran, he probably would have polled a lot better. Okay, he would have been a lot more competitive, in my opinion. But hey, it is what it is. Hindsight is 2020. I think that he'll reflect on it, and I think he'll come back stronger in 2028. So we'll see about that. As for Nikki Haley, this is a devastating blow for her because he could have dropped out and endorsed Nikki Haley or not given an endorsement to Trump, which I think would have helped Nikki Haley to a certain extent. Because again, you do have those DeSantis supporters that are like, hey, we're never Trump. Okay, they may go vote for Nikki Haley. If he endorses Nikki Haley, a lot more of his supporters may go to Nikki Haley. However, it seems like there's quite a bit of people who really don't like Nikki Haley, or put it this way, maybe they don't like running against Nikki Haley. I mean, Chris Christie decided not to endorse anybody. I don't think he endorsed anybody. He didn't endorse Nikki Haley. So, Nikki Haley at this point, even though she's clearly the establishment pick, it seems like there's a lot of people who don't like her, okay? And she's not picking up any of these endorsements. But then again, we all know that at this point, a lot of these guys are trying to look out for their own careers, and everybody knows that the base is with Trump. That's how these people get elected is through their constituents in the base. So they're going to rally around the guy that voters want them to rally around, right? So again, if Ron DeSantis would have endorsed Nikki Haley, that definitely would have been the end of his career, right? He would have been done, right? That would have been the nail in the coffin of his career. So he essentially revived the possibility of continuing to have a career, okay, by endorsing Trump. And that could be what this is, okay, in regards to his endorsement of Trump over Nikki Haley. Or it could be that, maybe Ron DeSantis actually does believe that Trump will be better than Nikki Haley. That could be it as well, too. But I really, I think that Ron DeSantis made the right decision. This is good for him. It's good for Trump. Bad for Nikki Haley. I expect Nikki Haley to maybe even drop out before South Carolina if she performs poor enough in New Hampshire. If she doesn't win New Hampshire, she definitely is in deep trouble. And if she doesn't win South Carolina, she's definitely done, right? So this race could be over after South Carolina, okay? In fact, it's likely going to be over after South Carolina because, again, if she doesn't win New Hampshire or South Carolina, if she loses both of those states, Nikki Haley is done, right? She's done. There's no chance for her. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.